Hugo Lloris, the captain of the French side for the 100th time this evening. Here is the Wales team once again. 2 changes from that 1-0 win against the Czech Republic back in March to give them points on the board in the World Cup qualifiers. Lawrence and Ampadu are both injured, so Gunter and Allen come into the side. Ward in goal, Mepham, Roden and Gunter, the 3 central defenders. Roberts and Williams in the wide areas. Morel and Allen in midfield, with Bale, Wilson and James in attack. For France, 2 changes for them as well from their 1-0 win against Bosnia and Herzegovina in their most recent World Cup qualifier. Coman and Lamar are the players who drop out. Tolisso and Benzema are the players who come in. Karim Benzema playing his first game since October of 2015. Lloris in goal, their captain. Pavard, Kimpembe, Varane and Hernandez, the back 4. A diamond in midfield. Tolisso, Pogba, Rabiot and Griezmann, with Mbappe alongside Benzema in attack. We have a Portuguese referee for this game, Luis Godinho, and very sadly, as Dan was saying, this Stade de Nice is empty for this game. It was a vibrant venue for both the Euro 2016, of course, an infamous night for England here against Iceland. England's women were also regular visitors during the World Cup 2 years ago. And Wales's rugby union players will be here playing a group game when the tournament heads back to France back in 2023. But it's all about European preparations this evening with the Euros fast upon us. And Dean Saunders, if we were looking for a test to see just how good Wales are, this is it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the pictures there. There's a little Ski Electric's car, I think, come onto the pitch with the ball. I've seen it all now. Took the ball out to the centre circle and now it's on its way off, so they're waiting for the car to get off the pitch.
It's like one of those things you get to hoover your carpet if you can't be bothered doing it yourself.
But it's interesting to see how Wales line up. We're just looking here to see if they're going to line up with a back 3 or they're going to play 4-4-2 like the pictures are showing us. But they're playing against the diamond tonight, and it's going to be interesting to see if the Wales players match that diamond up in the middle of midfield. Tolisso's going to get on the ball. Who's going to go to him? And then you've got Griezmann in the pocket. So who's going to mark him? So we'll wait and see what happens in a minute.
Both sets of players take the knee before kick-off. This the penultimate game for Wales before they head to Baku. We will be with them for the start of their Euro 2020 quest, and it's France who get the game underway here in Nice, wearing all blue, and they are attacking the goal away to our right. Wales in all red, and it looks to be a back 4 for Wales looking at the opening seconds, but that may change when they come under some pressure. At the moment it's guided back by Varane towards Lloris, defending the French goal away to our left hand side. And now Varane has plenty of time to bring it forward. He's engaged belatedly by Wilson. But here is Pavard on this near side, the right again. Infield towards Varane. Pogba seems to be playing on the right of the diamond, with Tolisso, the deeper player, in behind him. And Karim Benzema alongside Kylian Mbappe in attack. And right at the start of the game, it will be interesting to see what sort of reaction Benzema gets from his fellow teammates, who of course were around when he was dropped from the French team back in October of 2015. And very quickly France are popping the ball around, an early cross into the penalty area. Griezmann was the target. Wales will clear, and eventually the ball back through the penalty area is allowed to drift behind it. It will be a goal kick.
Yeah, Wales playing with the back 4. Chris Gunter's playing left back, Connor Roberts right back, Mepham and Roden down the middle, and France have got the ball in the first couple of minutes, and I think this is going to be the pattern of the game, playing the diamond in midfield. So Wales have got a back 4 with 5 in front, trying to stop this diamond from popping the ball around all night.
And I do wonder if Rob Page's initial intentions for this game would change when they saw the formation. But Wales are looking to come forward now, and it's Williams moving forward with an early cross into the penalty area, headed away at the near post. And now Pogba quickly plays it down towards Pavard. Griezmann is very deep, and he swings the ball across the face of his own penalty area, but there was plenty of time for Rabiot to bring it down. So Nico Williams playing in midfield.
Yes, and it looks like he's trying to pick Pogba up, who's playing on the right side of the diamond, but he's made a great run there down the channel. Right back got caught out of position, and Williams got down the side, come back on his right foot, put a good cross in. Good chance.
Wales have only won one of their previous 5 matches against the French. They've all been friendlies, and that one win was 39 years ago tonight in Toulouse, when Ian Rush scored the only goal against a French side who were heading towards the 1982 World Cup. And what a team they had. Platini, Jaurès, Tigana, Battiston and Cisse all played that night, and I suppose that's a side of equivalent quality to what Wales are facing here this evening.
Well, France are that strong that they've got another team they could put out tonight, which is just as good. Near enough. Giroud's on the bench, who's scored so many goals for them. He's not going to get a game, but they're queuing up to get a game.
France looking to build on this near side. Good challenge though from Gunter to Rob Mbappe, but here is Pavard. Both the fullbacks pushing forward. Pogba's ball into the penalty area, and a glancing header from Benzema, and that's a fine save from Ward, denying Karim Benzema his first goal back in the French side.
Well, it's worrying signs straight away. I mean, Pogba's picked the ball up, great ball in. Benzema gets in front of Connor Roberts. It's a brilliant striker's header. You know, he's pulled behind Connor Roberts, then got across him. Great ball from Pogba, whipped it, David Beckham-like, round the back of the back four, and it's a great save from Ward.
And it's an indication of the strength of this French team that their 2 central defenders for their under-21 side, who were beaten by the Dutch on Monday night, were Deo Upamecano and Ibrahima Konate. Now James there with a break into the penalty area for Wales. Needs some support, fires the shot in. It's beaten away by Lloris, and then eventually it is scrambled behind, and the French there were at 6s and 7s. James with the initial shot, it was saved by Lloris, and Joe Allen very close to turning the loose ball in.
Well, I mean, you don't catch Dan James when he gets clear, and he's got clear, played a great 1-2, and he's in on a bad angle, and he's tried to smack it across Lloris, who's parried it to the penalty spot, and Joe Allen was nearly on the end of it, coming in late, but they've just managed to clear it.
Wales looking to come forward again, but the ball from James seeking out Wilson was overhit, and Pavard will clear. And here is Griezmann for France. And our front 3 tonight, Mbappe, Benzema and Griezmann, have scored 100 goals between them domestically this season. No other side heading to the Euros can get anywhere near them in terms of that sort of striking power. Not even Poland, who've got Robert Lewandowski, who scored over 50 times this season.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at the pattern of play there. Morel and Joe Allen are trying to sit in front of Wales's back 4, and Griezmann's trying to get in that space where they are. So they're pulling Joe Allen out by making passes. Pogba, you know, getting on the ball and pulling. He's pulled Nico Williams out of the middle of the pitch, and then they try and get the ball to Griezmann in the pocket.
5 minutes played on TalkSport 2. France 0, Wales 0 in Nice. In the build-up to Euro 2020, every single game will be live across the TalkSport network, and Dean and myself will be heading to Baku next week to bring you Wales's first 2 group games in the competition. Griezmann with a high ball into the penalty area, and it was nodded back in field, initially cleared, but now Hernandez will receive it back from Rabiot. Low cross in towards that near post, and it's hacked away high into the sky on the far side by Morel, and it will be a throw-in for France again, who are looking to just keep Wales pinned in here. Griezmann finding Mbappe, and now Pogba, and the names really roll off the tongue as they look to try and stretch Wales. But one thing you can guarantee from Wales, and any side managed by Rob Page, is there will be organisation, and the concentration levels though have to be tip-top.
Yeah, I'm just a bit worried about Wales's back 4. There seems to be gaps between the 2 centre-backs quite a lot, and the way France keep the ball and just shift it around in the middle of the pitch, the two centre-backs are getting pulled apart, and eventually someone's going to get clean through the middle against that defence of ours.
But here is James again, in space down the left-hand side. Needs to be a good cross over the head of Wilson. Now Morel will gather. He strikes a goal. It's blocked by Pogba on the edge of the penalty area. An opportunity for Williams now to try and break in field, but France had bodies back around the box, and they will clear, but Dan James has got pace to burn on this left-hand side, and at the moment, France can't deal with him because Pogba is going nowhere near it.
Well, that's the weakness of playing a diamond. You've got no wingers, so if you give the ball away, which France have done a couple of times, if you give the ball away, you've got no wide players. So Chris Gunter and Dan James are getting 2v1s on the fullback, and on the other side, the same thing happens. So Wales have made 3 chances from France losing possession and exploiting that diamond.
8 minutes played here, 0-0, now 1-1. In the match on the Algarve between the Netherlands and Scotland, Memphis Depay equalising the early goal from Jack Hendry. And over on Talk Sport, it's also goalless in the early stages at the Riverside Stadium, where England are playing Austria in one of their warm-up games, and there will be commentary on both of England's warm-up matches on Talk Sport. And of course, we will be live from Wembley every time they play during the group stage, and the same goes for Scotland's matches at Hampden Park and Wembley, and also Wales further afield in Baku and Rome.
Do you know what, Nigel? Chris Gunter has a good game tonight. I mean, he's an experienced player. We didn't know whether he was going to get picked for the final squad. He's playing left back tonight, and he's got a chance to play himself in the team. I personally think he should be starting, just because of his voice, his enthusiasm and his experience.
Well, he sent a high ball wide towards the far side, looking for Bale, and Bale's done well to Rob Hernandez. He can attack the penalty area, sweeps in field, and Hernandez seemed to body check him, but no free kick given by the referee, and it's brought clear by Rabiot up towards the halfway line. But Wales already have shown they can get at France in the wide areas. Nearly 10 minutes played. It's been a lively start to this game as Mbappe pulls a high ball down on this near side, the French right. Back in field towards the centre circle, and Tolisso, who is the more conservative of their 4 midfield players in this formation, but there will still be an expectation on him to try and create. Now Kimpembe going towards the far side again, and we saw Paul Pogba shaking the hands of Dan James, of course, club mates at Manchester United before kick-off, but at the moment James has had him heading back the other way towards his own goal on a couple of occasions. Here is Pogba now, though, on the edge of the penalty area, works a 1-2, high ball towards this near side, and a lunging Pavard can't keep the ball in play, and that will be a goal kick to Wales with 10 minutes played here on Talk Sport 2. It's 0-0. Here are the thoughts of Dean Saunders.
Well, France's midfield, obviously a diamond in midfield, all good players, and then they've got Benzema up the top, Mbappe's floating around, and then you've got the 2 Bayern Munich fullbacks who are joining in. In that diamond, you get your width from your 2 fullbacks, and the minute France make a few passes, you end up with a front line of Mbappe, Griezmann, Benzema, and both fullbacks. That's when you're in trouble as a back four.
James again pushing on, but this time he's outnumbered as the challenge from Varane, who had just come across to help out Pavard on this near side.
I think it's quite obvious Wales's tactics. When them fullbacks go forward, we got to have runners using Bale and Dan James down them channels where the fullbacks have vacated, and it's working.
And we saw that work in the early stages against Belgium with the goal they scored.
I still feel, you know, if you put another defender in there and you play a back 5, there's not as many gaps against these top players who, and then Griezmann thinks quicker than you, runs quicker than you. Benzema thinks quicker than you, runs quicker than you. That's why they're great players. Well, if you've got 5 of you there, the gaps are smaller.
Pavard heads it forward now. Griezmann challenged by Williams. The referee again allows the challenge to go. Pogba lofts it wide towards the far side. Hernandez has the opportunity to bring the ball forward, but again Wales are well organised. As that midfield four just drop in. Griezmann's ball forward, wide to the far side, and Connor Roberts will get there before Hernandez completes the clearance, and it will be a throw into France down their left.
Yeah, what you have to remember as well, this back four, Connor Roberts, Chris Gunter, Mepham and Rodon, never played together before. So they turn up and they play against three strikers who've scored 100 goals between them, and they're supposed to keep a clean sheet. It's difficult.
But they've done it so far. 12 minutes played here on TalkSport 2. 0-0. Of course, Rodon and Roberts were teammates at Swansea until earlier this season, and Mepham and Gunter have been on the international scene for some time. Of course, Chris Gunter is the old man of this team in terms of international appearances, now heading towards his second century as Pavard plays it down the line for Pogba on the French right. And the challenge comes in initially from Rodon, but he quickly passes on Pogba as Griezmann plays it in field, but it's broken up well on the edge of the penalty area by Morel, but France win it back once again. Kimpembe has the ball just inside the Wales half, wide towards Mbappe. Appeals for offside against Hernandez, but the flag is not raised. Mbappe once again finding Pogba, but his ball forward is quickly cut out, and Wales now look for that early switch. It's Morel who plays it wide towards the far side, but Morel was caught there in the act of trying to find Nico Williams, and it will be a free kick to Wales, and they have made a decent start to this game.
Oh, he's done great there, Morel. You know, he's actually trying to play like Kante plays in that role in front of the defence. He's trying to block Griezmann from getting the ball, and he's done well so far. Gareth Bale puts the afterburner on.
Bale now coming forward down the right. Hernandez just checks his progress, but Bale looks to come back in field. He finds Allen. Allen was caught there, but players allowed to continue because Wales have an opportunity to build on the edge of the penalty area. Wilson now, he can let fly, he does, but the effort is too high in the end. But once again, Wales committing French players around the penalty area, and when you do that to them, they are not comfortable.
Well, once again we've got in again, and this time it's Harry Wilson. The ball gets cut back from the byline. Harry Wilson's got it on his left foot, tried to bend it in the top corner, got it wrong, so he miscued it, and the ball's not whipped at all. It's gone straight into the stand. But you can see what he was trying to do. I mean, we have got dangerous players. They're all dangerous. Wilson, James, Bale. Obviously we've got Ramsey and Brooks to come into that. I think tonight's game, injury avoidance for me. That's the only thing I would like to see coming out of this game. We don't get hammered, and none of our players get injured.
And of course they do have players who will need minutes, maybe later in the game. Ben Davies and Aaron Ramsey will be central to that. Tom Lockyer, of course, is now back in the squad, but he's coming back from knee surgery in April, so we probably won't see him until the Albania game at the earliest, as Griezmann comes forward now on the far side for France, finding Mbappe. This could be a real test for Roberts, but he's done well again, and he's forced the foul from Mbappe, and it will be a free kick for Wales. And this has been a very Rob Page-like performance so far. Of course, Wales' results so far this season: 7 wins, 2 draws, only 2 defeats. They've only scored 10 goals in their last 11 games, but they've only conceded 7 in their previous 13, and 6 of those came in 2 games against England and Belgium.
Yeah, and just looking there, Connor Roberts has left himself in a situation there with Mbappe 1v1, and he's gone, go down the outside of me for pace, and Connor Roberts has just ushered him out of play. Brilliant 1v1 defending.
Now Pogba just shrugs Joe Allen off the ball, quickly plays it forward. He was looking for Benzema, but it was overhit, and Danny Ward will gather once again, chosen ahead of Wayne Hennessy this evening. And of course, that was the situation for the opening game of Euro 2016, when Wayne Hennessy had a back problem and Danny Ward played against Slovakia in Bordeaux, and he's in possession of the gloves at the moment, but I just get the feeling Hennessy will start in Baku in the first game.
Yeah, I mean, he's an experienced goalkeeper that's done it, and I mean, he won't be fazed by the games. I'm not saying Danny Ward will be, but as I said earlier, they're both similar characters. Both great lads, both talkers, both can kick the ball miles.
James now looking to take on Pavard, but Pavard recovers at the expense of a corner. And at the moment, Dan James is winning that one-on-one confrontation comprehensively.
Well, the minute Pavard starts to get forward and join in the moves, Dan James looks to get in behind that space, and he's got in there 4 times now.
Corner is played short on this near side, back out towards James, who looks to open up the angle for the shot. It's back to Morel, high ball to the far post, nodded back in field, and the header from Bale is tipped over by the Reese, but the flag was raised for offside, and had that gone in, it wouldn't have counted.
Just got to stay on side there. Is it Roden, I think, who took a short corner, comes back out to Morel, who's stood it up at the back post, and I think Roden's got offside. But we were queuing up there if he heads it back across the goal.
France look to play the ball out. Lloris inside his 6-yard area quickly sees Dan James motoring towards him, so it is cleared away up towards the halfway line. 18 minutes played on TalkSport 2, and there have been some fairly gloomy predictions of an avalanche of goals against Wales, but so far it has not happened. But here is Mbappe. Roden comes out to try and make the challenge, but Mbappe goes beyond him, but it's cut out well at the near post initially. Mepham, the player who sent the ball behind, and it will be a corner to France.
I know this is a big statement, but I think Mbappe, I mean, he's obviously lightning quick, and he's took Roden on there, and he's got the byline, tried to chip it. Chris Gunter's got a good position at the near post, gone out for a corner, but sometimes Mbappe, if he doesn't start the game right, he's sort of easily discouraged, I think.
Griezmann with the corner, Ward stays at home, and it's headed away by Williams towards the far side, and it will be a throw-in. Well, already Mbappe has had a couple of one-on-one opportunities, and he's not been able to get the better of Connor Roberts.
I remember the game at Anfield, Champions League, a few years back. Him and Neymar were playing wide for PSG, and they never turned up on the night. I was watching them and thinking, come on, show us what you've got. 2 brilliant players. 2 of them walked all night, just walked.
But you would imagine that Didier Deschamps wouldn't have that even in a friendly game, because there is so much competition for places as Wales look to come forward now. Allen with a high ball over the top, and the header back from Rabiot. That was brilliant defending, because Dan James was in the vicinity, but it was Varane actually with the header back. He wasn't phased, and he found Hugo Lloris.
Yeah, once again it's that, win the ball back, pick a spot in behind their back 4, and Dan James's legs, actually more than Bale at the moment, causing him all sorts of trouble.
Pavard, a low ball towards the edge of the Wales penalty area. 20 minutes played, 0-0 in Nice on TalkSport 2. Also goalless as well in the game at the Riverside between England and Austria. That's 5 minutes or so ahead of us, and it's live over on TalkSport, and the Netherlands still drawing 1-1 with Scotland, heading towards half-time in that game. Elsewhere tonight, Germany are playing Denmark in a warm-up game. That's 0-0 with 26 minutes played. And earlier on today, Azerbaijan, and of course we'll be visiting that country next week. They'll be in a good mood as well, because they won 2-1 away to Belarus, which is a rare victory for them in recent times.
Strangely enough, Wales have got possession now. That's about 15 passes they've put in. The French have all gone behind the ball, and this is when you're at your most vulnerable, strangely enough, when you're keeping the ball thinking you're doing all right, and if you lose the ball in the centre of the pitch, you've got Griezmann, Mbappe and Benzema running at you. Here we go.
And now Morel has given the ball away. Now Benzema in a central area, spreads it wide to Griezmann down the right. Pogba on the edge of the penalty area, checks onto his right foot. He's quickly tracked by Williams, but here is Griezmann again. A high cross in, and it's good defending at the far post. Gareth Bale coming back to guide the header behind for a corner, but your point there was illustrated very quickly.
Well, yeah, these teams, I remember Jose Mourinho's Chelsea doing that. I mean, you think you're doing well against them, they let you have the ball, they let you creep up to the halfway line, they let you centre-half split, passing the ball to each other, and then they set you a trap, so you roll the ball into the middle of the pitch, pounce on you, and then they've got world beaters for a through ball.
Griezmann will take the corner. 22 minutes played, 0-0. High in towards Benzema. Nodded away. James will try and pick up the loose ball, but Tolisso finds Griezmann once again. It's a deep crossing, looking for Pogba. Brilliantly saved by Ward. What an outstanding save from Danny Ward. Paul Pogba with a downward header, and somehow Ward clawed it out, and France have a corner.
What a save that is. I mean, that's an in-swinging right-footed cross from Griezmann, and Pogba has got inside Chris Gunter, Nico Williams it is, sorry, headed the ball. He must be 4 yards out, back post, heads it into the ground. Danny Ward scrambling across his goal and somehow manages to claw it out the net. It's hit the post, and then Benzema has gone for the tap-in. He's claiming handball of Nico Williams, but I think he was too close to him for a penalty to be given. What a save that was from Danny Ward.
Well, a corner kick has been given. Luis Godinho is actually going to the VAR screen here to have another look at this.
I'm not sure there whether... I mean, the ball's been in-swing at far post. Pogba gets inside.
It's the head of
Williams.
It's Nico Williams. Whether if they believe his hand was raised, then this could be a penalty. We're watching the replay the referee is seeing. It's Benzema's shot.
Well, he does put his hands sort of in front of his face to block the shot,
and then
his
elbow comes down onto the ball then strikes the outside of the post. The referee is having a long look at this. It's being replayed and replayed for him to judge whether it was deliberate handball.
I think it's a penalty.
Yeah, the arms are away from the body, and Wales will be very fortunate in the current climate if they get away with this.
If it doesn't hit his hands, it's going in.
Yeah.
Danny Ward's in the net, on the floor, on his back. So there was no way he was saving it. Benzema's just trying to tap it in. But Nico Williams has stretched his leg up to try and block the shot. As he stretched his leg up, both his arms have gone in front of his face, and he's parried the ball down. He's more or less saved it with his hands. It's a penalty for me.
Well, the referee is continuing to have a look.
The only way he doesn't give it is he thinks Nico Williams is too close to the ball.
Yeah.
But he has put his arms there. I'll be shocked if he doesn't give a penalty.
The referee is now walking back, gives the decision, and the penalty kick has been given.
Yeah, I think we can't argue with that. Once you get... that's where VAR is good.
And a red card is out as well. Goodness me, well that is ridiculous. Nico Williams is shown the red card for deliberate handball. Well,
that's a joke.
That is a very strange decision.
That's a joke.
He's been sent off and Wales are down to 10 men.
Well, I mean...
Rob Pace can't believe it.
Does anybody know the rules? Because, for me, if your arm's in an unnatural position, the rules are now, or the laws are, they give the penalty. But is that deliberate?
Well, the referee is saying his arm was out. It's deliberate handball, and so he's given the penalty. Gareth Bale, as the captain, is now having a long conversation with the referee, but, well...
It's not a deliberate handball, but he has got his arms in an unnatural position, which is out in front of him. But he's not put his hand to the ball's hit his arm. So I don't think it's a red card.
Karim Benzema, after 6 years away from the French side, he will take the penalty against Danny Ward. Benzema steps up, it's saved by Ward. What a brilliant save again. And Connor Roberts will bring it clear, and Karim Benzema is denied a goal in his return for now, once again, thanks to Danny Ward.
Another brilliant save, down to his right in the bottom corner, full stretch with his right arm. That's two brilliant saves he's made, but, I mean, what we're going to do now? We're in for a long night, Wales. 10 men against this team.
But it's still 0-0, 26 minutes played. Nico Williams, of course, was playing as a midfielder, so they will basically lose a body in that area. The defensive check shouldn't change too much. Now Griezmann inside the area, plays it down towards Mbappe, and he's flagged offside before the shot was straight at Danny Ward anyway.
Yeah, I mean, people watching the game or listening to it, I mean, the rules change that often that even the managers, you know,
that would not have been a red card in the Premier League.
No,
it would have been a penalty, but not a red card.
I mean, the rules change every week, so they make these rules up and make it hard for themselves. So he's ruined the game. The referee now has just ruined a good game of football by sending him off. So it's going to be like a training match. 10v11.
Still 0-0 on TalkSport 2, but in a friendly, that is, well, it's a decision which I don't think helps either side. It won't help Didier Deschamps, because if his team suddenly run away with this now against 10 men, what does he learn?
Exactly, and I mean, my first thought is I might even take Gareth Bale off. Pointless exercise. What can he get out of it? A bit of fitness? Well, he's going to be running back towards his old goal all night.
28 minutes played, 0-0, and Benzema was eyeing up a goal on his return. It would have been his 22nd international goal, but Danny Ward is doing all he can to play his way into the team for the first game in Baku with those two excellent saves either side of the red card for Nico Williams.
Yeah, and the whole team was playing well. Up to 28 minutes, we've matched France. You know, we've looked more dangerous than them. But I mean, it's so frustrating. The rules in football now, there's that many of them, and they change them that often.
28 minutes played, 0-0 here, but Wales down to 10 men. Let's get half-time from the Algarve. The Netherlands against Scotland, and TalkSport 2's David Tanner.
And at half-time, it's Netherlands 1, Scotland 1. A very, very positive performance by the Scots, who took the lead through Jack Hendry of Celtic in 11 minutes, his first international goal. 6 minutes later, it was Memphis Depay who scored a skillful volley to make it 1-1 at half-time on the Algarve.
Thanks, David. Wales coming forward now with James down the right, back in field towards Bale. Now Allen, space for James again to loft in the cross. Bale was challenging for it, and in the end Lloris does well to gather. I think Harry Wilson may have also challenged the goalkeeper with his arm raised, but having seen what the referee has done already, he's wise not to do that again. Now Mbappe coming forward for France, drops it off to Pavard down the right, in towards Mbappe again as we approach the half-hour mark on the French Riviera. 0-0, and Wales acquitting themselves extremely well in the circumstances. But here is Griezmann on the edge of the penalty area, lays it back. The cross in from Rabiot is cleared as far as Pavard. Now Mbappe down the right-hand side again, comes in field onto the left foot, maybe thought about the shot, but it's Rabiot, and the high cross in looking for Benzema, who challenges, and the header goes over the top, and once again France's prodigal son is denied.
Well, you know, on a positive note, this might happen when we get to the actual Euros. We might end up losing a man, and it's good practice to play with 10 men, and sometimes managers do practice this before the season kicks off, so they know what to slot into, what shape. I mean, you've got two options as a manager. You either play 4-4-1 or you play 2 up and play 3 in midfield. What it allows France to do now is Pavard and Hernandez, the fullbacks, they can go and play like wingers.
Morel's done well to win it back on this near side from Mbappe, and Mbappe just stayed where he was and allowed Morel to make the run forward. Here is Roberts for Wales on the far side there, right. Plays the ball in field, and now Rodon's got time to find Gunter, and Chris Gunter's experience will be even more important now in this situation. Wilson, the ball down the line for James. James looking to spin in behind Varane, but that's easier said than done. But he's still found Morel, and we may have considered Morel to be a potential weak link in this starting lineup for Wales, but he's done really well so far in the game.
Yeah, this is a test for him and Joe Allen.
Here's Pavard with a cross in, looking for the run of Benzema inside the penalty area, and in fact it was Mbappe. He was challenged though by Joe Rodon. He went down looking for a penalty, but nothing doing this time.
No, it's a bad cross behind Rodon, and as he's stepping out, Mbappe's tried to, first time it passed him, Rodon sort of body checked him a little bit, and then Mbappe dives over, trying to win a penalty. No chance.
Erling Braut Haaland has scored a late goal for Norway. They're going to beat Luxembourg in their friendly game this evening.
He's hot property. I wonder where he'll end up. Has he signed for anyone yet?
Not yet, but of course Dortmund making the Champions League may change the situation. I
He's been all
suspect
around the
not.
world, hasn't he? I played with his dad at Forest.
Of course, yeah.
Alfie. Famous Alfie for that tackle with Roy Keane,
Yeah.
I suppose. That's what he used to say, famous. He's remembered for that. But what an athlete he was.
Manchester City and Leeds as well. He's very well thought of at all of those clubs. As France come forward now, Tolisso with a high cross into the penalty, headed back across the face of goal, looking for Griezmann, but good goalkeeping again from Danny Ward. And at the moment, who would you pencil in for the first game in goal?
Well, Danny Ward's doing himself a lot of good. I mean, he's two great saves he's made. And he's confident lads. You know, both of them are really confident lads. They make mistakes and they just brush it off. A bit like Bruce Grobbelaar. Could make a mistake, the next game it's like as if nothing's happened. That's the test of a goalkeeper.
But neither Hennessy or Ward have any sustained first team action behind them this season. Adam Davis, who is the third choice goalkeeper, he's had the most football playing for Stoke in the Championship. As France come forward now, a low shot is deflected, it's blocked by the legs of Ward, and then it's fired into the net by Mbappe, and France finally do have the lead, and it's Kylian Mbappe after Ward made his third fine save of the first half. But this time Mbappe reacted, and Wales, a man down, are now also a goal down.
Yeah, I mean, it was coming. It's a shot from the edge of the box, gets deflected, so Danny Ward's on his way down to his right post. Pogba comes back inside, he's down the left, comes back inside. It's a shot, it comes off Griezmann off his heel. Danny Ward's diving one way, he makes a brilliant save with his foot, his trailing foot, but Mbappe's followed in and took it brilliantly, to be fair. He's reacted first, it's a rebound. If you follow in, all young players out there, if you follow in shots in training, follow in shots in games, you get 6 goals a season. It's a freebie.
Well, he just reacted a bit quicker there than Chris Mepham, who was looking to cut him off, and France have a lead which have been coming for the last 5 minutes or so. And it's difficult to see what Wales can do now.
Well, they have to concede ground. They've got to make the pitch smaller when they lose the ball, and really they've got to block the middle of the pitch off, let the ball go wide. It's the lesser of the two evils, and we've got like a test on our hands now. I mean, Joe Allen, I don't know if he can do this for 90 minutes. I would give him half a game, get him off. I'd get Bale off.
And if you're going to get Ramsey on, he needs minutes in a game like this, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not an ideal game. I mean, any football supporter out there, whether you're French or Welsh, you're actually disappointed by that decision. I was saying how good VAR is, and then the man who's looking at it, VAR, must have said he's deliberately handled that ball. I think he's put his arms up, but the ball's hit his arms, but his arms weren't supposed to be in that position. So that's the penalty given. But to send him off then and ruin the game, harsh for me.
Now France going forward again. Mbappe lays it off to Benzema, who tries to thread it through towards Griezmann. It's cleared though. Rabiot with a cross in from the far side, and eventually it's nodded further away. But Wales at the moment are just set in very deep, looking to play for half-time. Only a goal down here, trailing thanks to that goal from Kylian Mbappe on 35 minutes after the penalty save from Danny Ward denied Karim Benzema. But more damaging for Wales in the game as a whole was the red card given to Nico Williams, which looked very, very harsh.
Yeah, someone will come on and probably tell us that that's the law. You know, that's what the referee's done the right thing. But I mean, your arms are in the wrong position. You're not in your silhouette. You're too close to the ball. I think the referee should make a decision. Did he deliberately handle that ball? Yes or no? Go over to the screen and have a look. All penalty decisions, handball penalty decisions, I think the referee should just go over and decide himself. Do I think that was a deliberate handball? Yes or no? Not where your arms are.
Now France looking to come forward again. It has been one-way traffic for the last 5 minutes or so. Rabiot wide to this near side and Pavard, and the crossing deflected towards the near post. But Danny Ward is able to cling onto it to avoid the corner. And Wales here just looking to do what they can. They were always up against it, against such a formidably strong French team, but even the goal had an element of luck about it from the home side's point of view. They've been given a penalty, they've been given the opportunity to play 10 men in this game, and
yeah, it's unlucky. You know, I think it was Rabiot struck it from the edge of the box and it's hit Griezmann's heel. Deflection. Great save from Wardy again. But Wales have got to dig in now.
Pavard with a cross in, which is deflected behind off Gunter onto those huge blue tarpaulins behind the goal. No spectators inside the stadium on the French Riviera, and it will be a corner to France here.
I don't know about you, Nigel. What do you think of that then?
What, the red card?
Do you think it's a nonsense? It's not a red card. It's not. It's a penalty for me, but it's not a red card.
As I say, in the Premier League, that would not have been given, and to make that decision in a friendly is absolutely ridiculous. Had he gone over the ball and tried to injure somebody seriously, it's a red card. But in a situation like or if he's dived across and kept
carried it out, deliberately. But I think he's just put his arms in front of his face and the ball's hit his arms.
The ball was played high into the penalty area there for France, and Benzema was off target with the header, but he was having his shirt pulled by Rodon as he did so, but nothing was given there. Now, that's a penalty.
Yeah.
Why isn't a penalty given there? Why aren't VAR looking at that in the context? It doesn't matter if it's not to Wales's benefit, that's a penalty. But they don't check on that, but they send somebody off for that incident involving Williams.
Well, that's why he was looking at it for so long, I think. But, you know, he must have looked at it about 15 times. That's not a very good idea. Wales there playing out from the back with 10 men against France. Bad idea. Can only end in tears.
5 minutes to play in the first half. Wales trail here, but the performance has been very, very good. Now Morel, early high ball over the top, and it's one which Bale will leap for, but it's over his head and behind for excuse me, a goal kick. Is this a sort of situation, Dean, when maybe you bring on Kiefer Moore to give you more of a focal point in attack, to hold the ball up and maybe give other people a breather?
Well, probably not, because you haven't got the ball, so you need everyone behind the ball, and you're basically hanging on. You're trying to keep the score down, and then maybe if you can keep it down to 1-0 and for as long as possible, maybe in the last 10 minutes, as a coach, you can say, right lads, just try and stop them scoring another one, and then I'll change the tactics 10 minutes to go.
Here is Mbappe now with a burst into the penalty area, a shot wide on the right-hand side, which fizzed towards goal. Mbappe is claiming that Ward got a hand to it, but a goal kick's been given in the end.
But there you go. They made pass. Chris Gunter gets sucked into the middle of the pitch, and the fullback overlaps, and Mbappe overlaps the space Chris has gone into. I thought Danny Ward got a hand on that. It's just Mbappe gets in, strikes it straight at Ward, but it's gone over the bar. I thought he got a touch, but obviously the longer this game goes on, eventually the French players will work out the way into Wales's penalty area.
Bale now claiming he was pushed on the far side by Hernandez, and the referee seemed to agree, and Luis Godinho has been a central character in the first half, awarding the penalty on VAR and then sending off Nico Williams.
Can you remember the incident I think it was at Old Trafford where Pogba's tried to block a cross and his trailing arm, the ball's got cut back onto his arm as he was sliding to try and block the cross, and there was a VAR decision there. But Pogba, when you slide to block a cross, there's only one place your arms can go. I mean, it's very difficult as well when someone's smacking a ball point blank range you, not to lift your arms up instinctively to protect yourself. So I agree, picking your arms up in the wrong position is a penalty, but it's not a deliberate handball.
No.
He's protecting it's just an instinctive thing. If you played
That's a
football,
referee here tonight, and maybe in the VAR booth as well. They understand the rules, but they don't understand the game.
no, and going by the letter of the law then, all right, he's put his arm. I mean, how do you jump without lifting your arms? The old thing's gone balmy.
2 minutes to play in the first half on TalkSport 2. France 1, Wales 0. And France have been dominating possession in the last few moments. Now Pogba wide towards this near side and Pavard. And the goal scorer Mbappe takes over again. He plays it back to Pogba and makes that dart in behind Gunter, but Gunter recovers his position. But now a shot on the edge of the penalty area. Another appeal for handball from both sides inside the box as Rabiot's shot was repelled, and it's Wales who have the free kick in the end.
Yeah, so as I said, Varane and Hernandez, France's fullbacks, are now playing as high as you like wingers. So there were 7 players in Wales's box there when the cross was coming in. So that's what it allows you to do against 10 men. Your fullbacks got no one to mark. Go on, push on, and flood the box. Let's get to the byline, stand crosses up, see if we can get 6 or 7 in there. Matter of time before they score again.
A minute to play in the first half on TalkSport 2. 1-0 to France against the 10 men of Wales. And what was turning into a very interesting exercise for both sides has really been hampered by the refereeing decision. And I'm sure that Wales will just be relieved it's happened in a game like this, and maybe not in one of the group games, and issues like that can be revisited before the tournament.
Yeah, on a positive note, Robert Page, whatever happens in the rest of this game, he can put the video of the first 28 minutes on and say, look how we played against probably the best team in the world.
And they've done okay with 10 men, only conceding 1 goal. Wilson now with a high ball into the penalty area. It's headed towards the far post by a French head. Pavard will clear, and now there's the opportunity for France to try and break, but Tolisso has just run the ball straight out of play under pressure from Rodon. And Didier Deschamps, with his blue face mask pulled down beneath his chin, just barking out a few instructions as we head into a single minute of added time in the first half, which has been full of controversy, and it's a friendly, which tells you all you need to know. But Wales do have a free kick on the halfway line, and on the whole there have been so many more pluses than minuses for Rob Page and his backroom team, as Gunter plays the high ball forward towards the edge of the area, brought down on the chest by Bale, who will look to go beyond Kimpembe, delivers a cross into the area, and Wales will finish the first half here with a corner as Bale and Kimpembe collide and almost career into the advertising hoardings, and both have got up rather ruefully.
Well, it's brilliant play from Gareth Bale. He started on the right wing, runs across the line, all the way across the line into the opposite channel, gets the ball on his chest, gets the byline, digs a cross out from nowhere. He's limping. Hope he's okay.
Well, if that is the case, if there's any hint of a problem for him, they should take him off, as the corner is whipped into the penalty area, headed away by Griezmann at the near post, then given away to Wilson. He strikes it, and it's not too far wide as the half-time whistle goes. Wales finishing the first half on the attack. The shot from Harry Wilson, left-footed with the outside of the left foot, just swinging wide. Kylian Mbappe with the only goal so far in the game, and that followed a very controversial penalty incident. Nico Williams sent off following a VAR decision. It was handball inside the penalty area, but it was a ludicrous decision to dismiss him in a game like this. But the penalty from Benzema was saved Danny Ward has had a fine game, and Wales at the moment, in the circumstances, have acquitted themselves very well indeed. At half-time, it is France 1, Wales 0. Thank you, Dan. The first change is a debut for France, for Jules Koundé of Sevilla. And Lucas Digne, a more familiar face from Everton, he comes on. And it's Hernandez who has gone off to be replaced by him. And Lucas Pavard is the other player who was made way at the start of the second half. Wales, with their 10 remaining players, will get the game underway. And this is a big moment for Koundé, who was promoted from the under-21 side ahead of the likes of Dayot Upamecano and also Ibrahima Konate, who maybe have arguably a higher profile in domestic club football, but Didier Deschamps is always a man who sticks by his decisions and backs his players when he picks them. And it's Wales who get the second half underway, trailing here by a 0-0, of course, down to 10 players following the sending off of Nico Williams, and there is the possibility that he could now be suspended for the game against Albania, which comes up in Cardiff on Saturday. And if there's any prospect of a suspension, Wales have simply got to appeal that red card, as France come forward right at the start of the second half. Benzema wide towards Griezmann, now Pogba square, and the shot from Tolisso is a missed kick, but it falls kindly for Benzema, who spreads it wide to the left side of the penalty area. Rabiot now takes over. First involvement for Lucas Digne. France changing both of their fullbacks at the start of the second half as Pogba plays it wide to the far side. First involvement for Koundé, wearing 25, of course, 26-man squads for the Euros coming up, so there will be some higher squad numbers than usual for tournaments. Mbappe, he's got number 10, of course, finding Kimpembe, and Wales have everybody behind the ball in a line on the edge of the penalty area as they try to break things up, and now they've done well. Joe Allen was the first player to break cover. He won the ball back and gets the free kick.
Yeah, it's great defending from Wales, but if I'm the French manager now, he must have said to him at half-time, right, this is good practice for us as well. So how are we going to get through this Welsh back line? How you do it normally is you both full-backs go and join in, and you make 2v1s on Gunter and Connor Roberts. You just get to the byline and get bodies in the box. You don't need a defensive midfield player, so you can put attacking midfield players who creep into the D onto the penalty spot as you're crossing the ball.
Here is Griezmann now, edge of the penalty area, turns and goes! A wonderful goal! Antoine Griezmann, yet again for France, showing his undoubted quality. The spin on the edge of the penalty area, and the left-footed curler left Danny Ward grasping at thin air, and the French double their lead right at the start of the second half.
Yeah, he must have told them, Deschamps at half-time, get the ball to Griezmann, but I mean, it's just a simple move where they've actually gone down the right, come inside, Griezmann back heel, he's just dropped his shoulder, come back on his left foot and bent it in the top corner. No chance Danny Ward with that one. So Mbappe's just done a little Cruyff back heel, and then Griezmann has dropped his shoulder on Rodon, opened his body out, bent it right in the top corner. What a finish.
His 36th international goal. This is 90th appearance for France, and they lead by 2-0, and this could become a pretty long second half for Wales now, who, well, I was going to say they held out for a long spell in the first half, but they weren't really holding on. They were playing France toe-to-toe, but the red card really changed the game, and it's been a more difficult assignment ever since. But Bale has won the ball inside the French half. Now Wilson will try and turn, finding Allen. Allen spreads it wide to this near side. The pass was behind Connor Roberts, but he's got time to recover and win the ball back. Now Mepham, who's had a difficult game so far, looking to contend with Griezmann, and it's all the way back to Danny Ward. So the two sides for you once again. The French side is Lloris in goal, the back four of Digne, Varane, Kimpembe and Koundé for the start of the second half. Pogba, Tolisso, Rabiot and Griezmann in midfield, with Benzema and Mbappe in attack. The Welsh side, Ward in goal, Gunter, Rodon, Mepham and Roberts the back four. It's now Wilson, Allen and Morel in midfield, with Bale and James looking to get forward whenever they get the opportunity. France leading 2-0. Griezmann scored the last time the two sides met in November of 2017 at the Stade de France, when Olivier Giroud added a second goal in a 2-0 victory. And I'm sure we will see him at some stage this evening as well, as the French look to weave some pretty patterns now on the edge of the Welsh penalty area. But the cross in from Luca Dean is cleared on the near side, and it will be a throw into France. England have taken the lead against Austria in our commentary game over on TalkSport. Bukayo Saka has scored the opening goal in that game, and Germany also lead Denmark by a goal to nil. Florian Neuhaus has scored the opener there. Those matches both 8 o'clock kickoffs, and Scotland leading the Netherlands by 2 goals to 1. Kevin Nisbet with the go-ahead goal for the Scots in the second half, and that would be some result for them considering the selection problems Steve Clarke has had in the build-up. And we will have commentary on Scotland's next warm-up game. That's away to Luxembourg on TalkSport 2 on Friday, on their Sunday rather, at 5 o'clock. And at the same time over on TalkSport it will be England against Romania, as Benzema looks to head across towards goal inside the Welsh penalty area, but it's gathered by Ward.
Yeah, well, if you've watched Benzema over the years, that's the run he makes. The play goes out to the right wing, he pulls off the back of the farthest centre-back, in between the full-back and the centre-back, and as the ball's being crossed, he judges either to get across you, in front of you, or he carries on pulling behind you, or he pulls out to the penalty spot. But his movement is great. You know, a bit like Cavani's movement. Cavani's gone to Man United and shown all the front players there how you play it as a centre-forward. His movement's excellent. And Benzema's the same.
France leading here by 2 goals to nil on TalkSport 2, 51 minutes played, and there have been 2 red cards in the game between Romania and Georgia this evening, 1 to each side, but Georgia lead by a goal to nil with 20 minutes to play there. So Scotland winning, England winning, but Wales losing here in Nice. But the scoreline doesn't really tell the story of what's been the Wales performance, which will put them in decent stead for the 3 matches coming up in the Euros, when they go to Baku to face Switzerland, then Turkey, before Italy away in Rome, as Connor Roberts makes a break into the penalty area, and Kip Pembe came in to make the challenge when Roberts was looking to slip the ball beyond Lloris.
And it's a great move from Wales again, another good move where Connor Roberts, right back, don't know what he's doing up there, but he's got into the middle of the French goal, and it's only a last-ditch tackle that stopped him scoring. We can't let this, whatever this result ends up, and we're not out of this game yet. I know it's highly unlikely we're going to get back in it, but whatever happens, we can't let this dent our confidence. You know, it's the players, you can see they're playing with confidence now, you know, right from the kick-off. We can't let this affect you.
Well, there will be a send-off game in Cardiff against Albania, and there'll be news of that game across the TalkSport network. 5 o'clock kick-off on Saturday afternoon. And I'm sure that by the end of these warm-up games, everybody will have seen some time on the field of play, as France come forward again here. 53 minutes played, leading by 2 goals to nil. Benzema has seen a penalty save, but Mbappe and Griezmann have given the French a comfortable position against the Welsh team, shorn of Nico Williams after what was a very, very harsh red card in the first half. Now Pogba, lovely vision from him to play a high diagonal ball to pick out Dean down the left. The cross into the area is not clear as far as Pogba, who almost took the ball off Griezmann's toes. Now Rabiot finding Benzema. Pogba again, couple of step overs, transferred wide to Luca Dean, and Mbappe disguised on the shot from him before he slipped it infield towards Griezmann. Wales appeal for offside, but no decision, and they will clear the ball away. But once again, France are enjoying a spell of prolonged attacking threat here.
Yeah, and you can see Wales' two lines of defence just pinned back 35 yards from our goal. They're all shuffling from right to left. And France's object is to get the ball from one side of the pitch to the other as quick as possible. And then your opposite full-back and winger, like now, they create 2v1s and you flood the box.
Luca Dean with the ball into the area, looking for Tolisso popping up, but he was crowded out and Wales will clear, and Griezmann seemed to leave something on the Welsh player who looked to knock that ball out of the penalty area, but our Portuguese referee has a look and does nothing, and I think play will be stopped. Well, the French wanted play to stop because Connor Roberts was down because he was caught there by Griezmann, but the referee is telling France to play on.
Well, he's up and he's all right now. That's the problem Wales have got now. When you sit back in these two lines and they get the ball wide and they cross it, all your players are in the last third. You can't get out of the penalty area.
Griezmann now brings the ball down, almost finds Benzema. And all that is missing now from this French performance is a goal from Karim Benzema, but as you told me during half-time, he's not prolific when it comes to penalties.
Well, I wouldn't say that. He's missed 3 penalties in his career. Sweden, 2014. Switzerland, I think, 2014. And tonight. So Danny Ward can put that one in his back pocket.
And of course, he's not played for 6 years. And this has come back, and at times he has looked a bit rusty, but here is Koundé's ball into the area.
And we lost one of our great goalkeepers, Guy Davis, who passed away. We actually did used to speak to Danny at Wrexham and talk to him a lot, and he was a great character, Guy, but he's passed away.
Guy, not just a football legend, but also a legend in Welsh history as well, as Pogba's shot from outside the penalty area is well saved by Danny Ward going down at the near post. And on this performance, you would start Danny Ward against Switzerland, wouldn't you?
Well, you give yourself a chance against France and take the chance, and I have to say up until now, fingers crossed, he's done everything that's been asked of him. He had no chance with the goals and he's made 3 brilliant saves.
Wales heading for their 9th successive away defeat in friendlies. Of course, they didn't play too many for a number of years under Chris Coleman as they sped up the world rankings, but they've not won away in a friendly since 2008, a 1-0 win against Denmark. Here is Koundé on his international debut. Usually plays as a central defender, but is filling in as a right back. Now Griezmann picks out Varane, who's got time to stride forward. Again, Wales appeal for offside against Koundé, but there is no flag. And here is Kimpembe now. Even the central defenders for France are playing midway inside the Welsh half, and Mbappe goes for the 1-2 with Griezmann, but it's broken down. Now Bale on the edge of the penalty area, crowded out by 3 French players. It was Pogba who eventually won it back, and here was an opportunity for Benzema to try and attack the area, but it's cleared by Connor Roberts. Now Koundé on the right corner looking for Mbappe, but the ball was overhit. It's gone behind for a goal kick, and Wales can breathe again.
Yeah, you rightly said there that the 2 centre-backs are pushed into midfield, so they're like 10 yards inside Wales's half at playing like midfield players. Then they push the midfield players onto the edge of our box, so when the ball does get crossed into the box, they've got 3 midfield players and 3 strikers going in on it, and it's just a matter of time before it drops to one of them. The problem is, sorry, Nige, the problem is then you can't get up the pitch. You've got no one to hold the ball up, but they're making 3 changes. Good, Bale's coming off.
Gareth Bale is coming off, looks to be okay. Kiefer Moore will replace him, so there will be more of an old-fashioned focal point, if you like, for the Wales attack. Now Aaron Ramsey is also coming on. In fact, there will be 4 changes in the end. Ramsey will replace Harry Wilson, who had that shot late in the first half which wasn't too far wide. Ben Davies will replace Chris Mepham.
That's good. Joe Allen's got off the pitch, no problems. Bale, no problems. Harry Wilson, no problems. There's 3 players we've got going into the next game. All right, Ben Davies is on the pitch now. He needs a game. Ben, not that long ago, just started running. So Fingers crossed.
And Dylan Levitt has also come on as well, the young Manchester United player who's been on loan in Croatian football at the end of the season, but Rob Page has clearly seen something in him and has chosen to bring him into the squad ahead of the likes of Tom Lawrence and Ravi Matondo.
That's strange as well. You see Aaron Ramsey running on, as Bale's running off. And you know, we've only managed to get them on the pitch, two of them together in one game in the qualifying campaign. And both of them need each other. Bale makes the runs, Ramsey sees him, and he's got the talent to hit the pass with the right weight on it. So they both need each other. And we can't seem to get them on the pitch. Probably that's why we've lost so many friendlies.
Of course, Aaron Ramsey has had a couple of injury-hit years since moving to Juventus, and he was around long enough to score some key goals for Wales in the qualification campaign, notably that brace against Hungary, which sealed their place in the finals.
Yeah, he's a quality player. He does things in a game that some players can't do. Sees passes.
Now Benzema for France on the edge of the area. An hour played on TalkSport 2. 2-0 to the French. As they look to come forward again now, Mbappe tried to thread it through towards Benzema, but on the cover was Connor Roberts, and he's done well to just guide the ball behind for a corner. Corner's played short. Mbappe, almost at walking pace, just shuffling towards the edge of the area. He's gone beyond James. High ball whipped in and too high as well. And it's gone behind for a goal kick. And we've seen one moment of outstanding quality in the second half from Antoine Griezmann. But apart from that, again, Wales, in the circumstances, considering the situation they're in, they are doing themselves no harm here.
Played really well. Yeah, it's quite refreshing actually. Since we've had a man sent off, we've not just sat back completely. Occasionally we broke out and tried to press them and create chances. Connor Robertson got into their box. So there's why you play Kiefer Moore there. Long ball, gets a flick on, all of a sudden we're up in there off the pitch.
Here is Ramsey, but he's quickly challenged by Rabiot, who brings it clear. His Juventus teammate Griezmann wide towards the far side, the right, and Benzema has Koundé on the overlap, but it's infield towards Griezmann, now wide towards Koundé, lifted in towards Pogba, and the volley from Luca Dean is blocked at the near post, and it was Connor Roberts again with some really good defending at the expense of a corner.
Well, that's the problem you have. You've got Koundé crossing it right back for the left back Dean, so they've got 7 players in our box again. So all they've got to do is keep switching the ball right and left, and then the opposite fullback just gets in your box. Take the defensive midfield player off, put 2 attacking midfield players on, and 2 centre-halves become midfield players. So they're running riot now.
Antoine Griezmann's goal earlier on. He takes the corner now, and it's an outswinger, and a free kick has been given to Wales. It was Ben Davis who was caught by Pembe, and it will be a free kick. And Griezmann has now scored in all 4 of France's games in this stadium. One of the attacking trio who have scored 100 goals between them so far this season. Further changes now for France, and Kingsley Coman is coming on for Paul Pogba, so things are unlikely to get any easier.
No, they're queuing up, and Kante, is he injured or is he just being rested?
Well, he had that hamstring problem, and of course he was involved in the Champions League final, so he's not involved tonight. And Moussa Sissoko now comes on to replace Corentin Tolisso as well.
Yeah, so they just got an embarrassment of riches. They could, as I said, they could put another team out.
Well, the players who are still on the bench for them this evening, you've got Kurt Zouma, of course, who is well thought of by Deschamps. Thomas Lemar of Atletico Madrid, of course, Olivier Giroud, Ousmane Dembélé of Barcelona, and Marcus Thuram and Wissam Ben Yedder, who are...
That's about £400 million of the players you just named there.
Who aren't even in the side.
and there's some not even going in the squad.
No. But Wales looking to move forward now with some purpose. Here is Roberts. Wide towards James. Levitt. Just operating on the right-hand side of midfield. James has not really been able to attack the penalty area as he did before the red card. But now it's played back to him by Ramsey. The shot from James is beaten away. Moore's shot is also blocked inside the area. Appeals for handball, and it's fired towards goal in the end by Davis. And a goal kick has been given. Wales are appealing for handball, but there were a succession of shots there raining down on the French goal. Lloris made one save, and the rest were just about kept out.
Brilliant play from Wales again. Good football around the edge of the box. I think it's Dan James gets the shot in, but the keeper's Lloris has made a good save to his right. But if Wales have got that goal in there, you start thinking, could they get a result there? 2-1 down, but it's a good save from Lloris. He's not had a lot to do.
65 minutes played. 2-0 France lead here on TalkSport 2. England still leading by a goal to nil. Bukayo Saka 12 minutes into the second half, and Scotland still 2-1 up in the closing stages on the Algarve against the Netherlands. That would be a really good scoreline considering the players who have not been able to travel for that game. And Denmark have now equalised against Germany in their warm-up game. Yusuf Poulsen replying to the goal from Florian Neuhaus early in the second half.
It's interesting to see how the Dutch get on. They've got so many good players, young, talented players. They normally rise to the occasion.
But I think they can stop arguing amongst themselves.
Well, that has been a bit of a problem in going back in history. They've always seemed to fall out when they get to a camp.
But of course they have Frank de Boer, somebody who has seen it and done it as a player, and is looking to reinvigorate his coaching career as well after a couple of false starts. Benzema plays it square towards the edge of the penalty area, worked wide by Rabiot. And in the end, Wales are just holding firm here. In these situations, they're allowing the French to play the ball in front of them, and they're just looking to track the runners when the ball goes over the top, which has been done fairly successfully so far since half-time.
Yeah, it's like a training session. Now, you just shuffle across, close the gaps. The minute you show any ambition to score a goal from that and break out, that's when you're in trouble. So you can hang on doing this.
Dean with a cross into the penalty area, and in the end Mbappe was almost on the end of it, but he failed to get the necessary power on the shot, and it's gathered by Ward.
Dan James again, we've just seen the replay. It's a great save from Lloris to his right. Say great save, it's a good save. Kiefer Moore nearly got the rebound, then another shot come in. I think Gunter ended up with the last shot. Ramsey had a shot, didn't go in, but I mean, the more I watch Dan James, the more I think he's improving. He's the fingers pointed at him for his end product, but every time I watch him recently, every time he's managed to get a start, he causes problems.
And he scores goals at crucial times.
Yeah.
A late winner for Wales in the previous game against the Czechs. He also scored a late goal, or the only goal certainly, against Slovakia in the qualifiers for the Euros. So
yeah, and as he gets older, you'd like to think his football brain will improve and get better with experience. So if you can run that quick and you can think quick, you're hard to play against. You've got them two.
With all this preparing Wales for their first game in the Azerbaijan capital, Baku, a week on Saturday, and we will be there for TalkSport. 2 o'clock kickoff. Looking at the temperatures, they reckon it will be around 30 degrees at kickoff time, so playing in Nice tonight is not bad preparation.
I don't know if anything prepares you for that heat.
Here's an opportunity for Mbappe inside the area. The cross in though is somehow scrambled clear at the near post. Rabiot's shot then thumps into the body on the edge of the penalty area of Connor Roberts, who comes away from that just flexing his left leg, because I think that was a bit of a stinger. But once again, Wales are doing what they have to do.
Well done. Like blocks again. Well, they look together as a group. You know, it's a test of your character. You go 1-0 down against France. best team in the world, more or less. And are you going to crumble or are you going to dig in? And they've dug in. And they're still digging in.
Now Rabiot has support from Griezmann. He can attack the penalty area. Square towards Sissoko. And there are half a dozen blue shirts all stood still on the edge of the box. So Coman will now try his luck on this near side. He's gone beyond Connor Roberts, then chops back onto his right foot. High cross to the far post. Gunter initially ducks out of it. And in the end, Koundé's ball forward was almost given back to the Welsh. But here is an opportunity now for Benzema. Left foot shot from him. And it was deflected and it bobbles wide.
Yeah, shooting practice now. But once again, we've defended well as Kuma's flipped the ball to the back post. Chris Gunter thinks there's no one behind him, tries to let it run. They kept it in play. Benzema's had a shot from the penalty spot. Another block. It's gone out for a corner.
And we're heading towards the final 20 minutes here. France leading by 2 goals to 0, but considering Wales have been playing with 10 men since before the half hour, this has been a notable performance, and there was some talk they will be swamped and swept away by this French side. But well, before kick-off we were possibly wondering about the wisdom of playing France. At the moment it looks to be a very good idea.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but you wouldn't envisage a game turning out like this with a man getting sent off. Nico Williams, poor
But in
lad.
terms of the performance and players getting confidence from matching themselves up to some of the best in the world and not being overawed.
Yeah, I mean that's what I said. Pagey can, after the game, he can sit the players down and say, hey, that's not an embarrassment. What's just happened there? You actually think? I mean, I'm talking as if I was managing them now. I'd be saying, I'm actually proud there that you've just dug in, all of you. You've stuck together. You've not just sat back and not tried to break out at any point. You know, Connor Roberts has broken into the box. Dan James has had a shot in their box. And again, we're attacking again. So they've done really well. And that's the positives you've got to take out of it.
Now Roberts plays it forward towards this near side. James looking to break into the penalty area. It's cut out initially by Sissoko, but now it's right to Gunter on the left. And there is support further forward from Roberts, and Wales here are looking to move the ball around with some real purpose. Now Ramsey, he's got the opportunity to attack the penalty area, but the cross in the end was lofted too high from Morel, and it was a disappointment. But Wales are about to make another change, and David Brooks is coming on to replace Dan James, so fresh legs in the wide area.
Well, David Brooks, I think this boy, if he stays fit, he's a great player. He's still young. I mean, he's had a bit of an injury problem at Bournemouth, done well in the Premier League with Bournemouth. He's now coming on, Dan James is coming off fit, that's a result. But this boy, David Brooks, if he gets himself right, he's an asset to us. He sees things, he moves gracefully. Reminds me sometimes when he's travelling, it's like Chris Waddle, when he travels with the ball. Not so much when he gets stopped, but when he's actually travelling, he keeps the ball close to his foot. It's another good save from Danny Ward when they show the replays there.
That was to prevent Kylian Mbappe's cross from heading into a dangerous area. Mbappe has now been taken off, and Ousmane Dembele of Barcelona, the player who replaces him. And we have 18 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. France leading Wales by 2 goals to 0. But Wales have continued to really impress here in many areas. Now Dembele will try and attack. France have had 16 attempts on goal, 9 of those on target. Wales have had 8 attempts on goal, 2 of those on target. So it has not been entirely one-way traffic.
No, and we've been forced to actually defend now. We've been forced into it, actually getting his shape right. Everybody working together, tighten up the back lines, the gaps between you. So sometimes this can help you, because otherwise we'd have been attacking and not really concentrating on our team shape as much as we are right now.
Memphis Depay has scored a last-minute equaliser for the Netherlands. It's now 2-2 against Scotland in the Algarve. We'll get full-time news from David Tanner when that happens. England still leading Austria by 1-0, and Wales coming forward here with Aaron Ramsey looking for support on the edge of the penalty area, and he was caught right on the edge of the box, and Wales have a free kick. Ramsey was inviting the challenge, and then somebody nibbled, and Wales here with a set piece in a really good area.
Yeah, we actually played out there and hit Kiefer Moore. Ball stuck, runners alongside him. Ramsey was one of them. He's run right into the heart of the defence. David Brooks makes a run. Ramsey can't find a gap to slip him in, but gets tripped. So we've got a free kick right in the middle of the goal, 20 yards out.
And Rafa Varane's also been shown a yellow card for that. Well, who are the contenders here to hit this?
They've all gone off.
Yes.
So I would imagine Aaron Ramsey's looking at it. David Brooks hits him for Bournemouth.
Yeah. 15 minutes to play.
Ball. Yeah, if we get a goal there.
We'll be off to the Algarve shortly to get news of Scotland's game against the Netherlands, but Wales here have a free kick, and Hugo Lloris is looking to sort the wall out. Luca Dean is the draft excluder.
This is a new trend, isn't it, where somebody's laying on the floor behind the wall to stop the one going under their feet. Just stand still.
Well, David Brooks will take the free kick. This will be pretty much his first touch in the game, and it's Brooks who curls it left-footed. The wall leaps and does its job, and it is cleared wide to the far side. Morrell will go all the way back towards Gunter, and Gunter in turn, as he sees the blue shirts rushing towards him, will play it further back into the Wales half. Now it's a long early ball forward, and it's looking for the run of Roberts on this near side, but Kimpembe comes across to knock the ball out for a throw-it. And we'll have commentary of Scotland away to Luxembourg, 5 o'clock on TalkSport 2 on Sunday. England against Romania will be live from the Riverside Stadium over on TalkSport at the same time. And
I fancy Scotland to do well, you know. I just think they've got like a bit of underdog spirit about them.
And they've got some very good players.
They've got 6 or 7 players who are starting in the Premier League.
No wonder England have picked so many right backs, because Scotland have got so many good left backs.
What's that all about? 4 right backs. 4 right backs.
Well, I suppose some of them may be offering versatility in other areas.
And what's all? Let Lingard start in the game tonight, not in the 26-man squad, and starts the game tonight. I don't know.
Well, he's played a good portion of that game. Jesse Lingard was eventually taken off after an hour. Here is Coman coming forward now for France, deep into the penalty area. On the stretch, it is cleared away initially by Rodon. And Wales don't really deserve to concede a third goal here. And we have 12 minutes to play.
No, we had a chance the other end there with a free kick with David Brooks. I built him up, and he makes a bad decision. He's trying to flip it over the wall. He's too close. To get it up and down in that tight area, he's 19 yards out. I think he's just got to hit the goalkeeper side with pace there and follow in. Everybody get the rebound.
Now Sissoko plays it wide to the far side. Griezmann involved yet again. He's been such a live wire for the French. Dembele, his Barcelona teammate, finding Koundé, another player from La Liga. Now Dembele once again. He's inviting Koundé to chase, and the ball may have gone behind there, but it was kept in play. And here is Benzema with a shot. It's the inside of the post, and it's turned in for 3-0.
That's
and
what
it's Ousmane Dembele who gets the third goal. Benzema so unlucky there to see the shot come off the inside of the post, but Dembele in the right place at the right time, and Wales now trail 3-0.
Class again. Griezmann showed his bit of class, and Benzema there. It's a cross from the byline. He's coming away from goal on the penalty spot. Chest, side volley. It's inside of the post. Rebound for Dembele. He's in the right place at the time, but Rodon's not got to Benzema there. The cross is coming away from Rodon, away from goal, and he's chested it and scissor volleyed it. Hit the post, unlucky. But they've got like flashes of class, all these players.
And Benzema's integration back into the French team will be helped by that. And on the monitor we can see a couple of French players on the bench applauding his involvement in that goal. He's not scored tonight. He's seen a penalty save, but he was inches away from scoring the third before Dembele eventually did his 4th international goal in his 24th appearance. And France do lead by 3-0 as we head towards the final 10 minutes here. And Wales just need to be careful that things don't unravel. Of course, they've been playing with 10 men since the 28th minute when Nico Williams was sent off, and I'm sure that Rob Page will have something to say about that at the end of the game. Now Dean finding Rabiot, but there's been no lack of spirit from Wales, and they've offered a fleeting threat on the breakaway as well. But now they're having to defend once again. Sissoko in towards Benzema, and Dembele again has got the opportunity to deliver a cross in, and it was volley cleared by Rodon only as far as Coman, and Gunther almost pushed him over inside the area. Here is Dembele. Benzema again in a very similar position from the area in which he scored, and there's an overload down the right again for the French. Now Griezmann's cross into the penalty area, and we can hear Rob Page telling his team to get out because they're too deep at the moment as the French look to continue to pile on the pressure. Here is Griezmann, plays it further square to Dembele. He goes for goal again, but this time it was too close to Danny Ward, who gathers with both hands above his head.
Yeah, you'd like the ref to blow up now, if possible. 80 minutes on, 3-0 down. I said before we started, no injuries and not get hammered. Actually, we haven't been hammered. If you read the scoreline tomorrow and you haven't watched the game, you'd think it was I've seen that one coming, 3-0 France, but it didn't happen that way. You know, we get a man sent off, and we've defended well. There's been some good performances out there. The goalkeeper's played well, believe it or not, and he lose 3-0. And as long as we don't concede a couple more, I think there's not too much damage on the night.
France have one more warm-up game next Tuesday when they entertain Bulgaria in Paris, as Dean's cross into the area is cut out by Rodon. It will be another corner to France, and their first game is in Munich against Germany. They're one of the latest starters in the Euros, and we'll have that game for you live on TalkSport on the 15th of June. And we are about to see a debut here for Ruben Colwill. I'm not sure too many Wales fans knew who he was until very, very recently, but he comes on now for the final 8 minutes. What a moment for the 19-year-old. 6 games for Cardiff. Now he makes his international debut against the world champions.
I bet he can't believe his luck. I think he's gone there just to train with them, and he's ended up on the pitch with some of the world's best players.
Griezmann with the corner into the penalty area. Free header again for Benzema, and it's another brilliant save from Danny Ward. Kipembe is then penalised, and it will be a free kick. And Danny Ward has prevented Benzema here from scoring a hat-trick.
Another good save. Benzema's got a run on Colwill. The young lad's just come on, he's marking Benzema. How can that be possible? A young boy comes on 18, he's marking Benzema from a corner, and he gets in front of him, gets a header in, but Danny Ward again, magnificent save. He's saying to Pagey, look, you can't leave me out after this.
Wissam Ben Yedder has now come on to replace Antoine Griezmann. Ben Yedder now at Monaco, although he really made his name at Sevilla. This only his 13th cap at the age of 30. And he's looking to head into the Wales penalty area now, but the crossing intended for him from Dembele is cleared away.
I have to say, they've not been brilliant, France. I don't think they've been brilliant. You know, you watch Man City, the type of football they play, you'd expect these to be playing a similar sort of style of football.
But as you said in the first half, the red card doesn't help them, because at that stage of the game, it was a good game, it was a good contest. France were providing problems, but also having to deal with something coming back the other way. The red card kills that completely.
Yeah, and have we said enough, I think, about the refereeing, but it's not just this game. I mean, the rules in general have gone out the window. I mean, the handballs now, can't put your arms up, silhouette, can't defend, put your hands behind your back.
Well, I don't think Wales will quibble about the penalty itself, but the red card is really another matter in a game like this.
Yeah, the referee has to use... Are you allowed to say common sense anymore? I don't think referees are allowed to use it. Do we know who a good referee is anymore? We used to. Now they can't referee the games.
Now Sissoko finding Dean. Dean strikes it left-footed, and it's into the side netting. Luca Dean so close to what would have been his first international goal.
Yeah, they just transferred the ball out to him, and he's just struck one. David Brooks gets a vital block, comes off his thigh, and it's a side netting. I think Wardy would have saved that. It was coming straight at him until he got the deflection. We just need to hang on now.
5 minutes to go. France leading 3-0. Short corner, work to Dembele. The cross is deflected once again. Rising to head the ball away is Moore. Now Coman jinking away from a couple of challenges. Dembele on the edge of the penalty area, works it square to Benzema. Benzema throws it back to Coman. His shot there was blocked superbly by Roberts on the edge of the 6-yard area. The danger yet to pass. Now Koundé finding Sissoko. Dembele once again, and Rabiot's got space on the edge of the Welsh penalty area. Lofted wide to Coman. He comes in field. Roberts looking to show him the outside, but instead it's curled towards goal by Benzema, and this time it just clips the stanchion on the way over.
What a bit of skill from Coleman. That's all Connor Roberts needs. Mbappe's gone off, and he's got Coleman to face out on this side with Dean joining in. And then that's Benzema opening his body out, trying to whip the ball in the top corner. Brilliant bit of skill from Coleman.
Well, the French will need as much time on the field as possible before what is a very tough group for them. They play Germany in Munich, then they go to Budapest and face Hungary and Portugal.
Well, if I'm Timo Werner watching this game tonight, I'd look at the runs Dan James was making. He's similar. Werner, his movement's excellent. He misses most of the chances he gets, and they maybe all come together in the Euros, but his movement will cause this French defence a lot of problems. They're wide open at times.
Now Sissoko plays it square to Ben Yedder, and back towards Sissoko on the edge of the penalty area. The Wales will try and break things up and bring the ball clear, and it's quickly played forward. It was a ball from Ramsey looking for the run of Brooks down the centre, but the French will cut it out. England have beaten Austria by 1-0, and there'll be a reaction to that game coming up over on TalkSport. Bukayo Saka, the match winner at the Riverside. They're next in action on Sunday against Romania, live on TalkSport. Luxembourg against Scotland will be here on TalkSport 2. And on Saturday we'll also have updates of Wales against Albania, the final warm-up game before we all head to Baku.
If you look at the 3 goals, Nige, there's not a lot we could have done about it. It wasn't shocking defending, 2 rebounds, and Griezmann,
genius,
stanchion, like what do you do about that? But the other 2 goals were just lucky, come off the keeper. Say lucky you got to be in the right place at the right time when you're a striker, but it wasn't poor defending. So there's been lots of good performances out there. I'm pleased that they've shown the grit and determination and not caved in.
And we are 90 seconds away from the end of 90 minutes here on TalkSport 2. And the most important thing is that Wales head towards the Euros with a fully fit squad, and there are 1 or 2 issues in terms of match fitness to sort out, as Dembele coming forward again now. He's got Gunter backpedaling. The cross in there was blocked by Colwill at the near post on his debut. Now it's worked wide by Devitt towards the far side, but very quickly it will come back. Here is Ben Yedder on the edge of the penalty area. And France here almost going through the motions at walking pace deep into the 90th minute, leading here by 3-0. Varane has support from Koundé on his outside. He's not had a huge amount of defending to do on his international debut, but once again it breaks down for France at the key area as Ben Davies shepherds the ball from Dembele behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think when you look at that penalty again, I think the ball hits Benzema's hand as well, you know, in the move. I'm not sure from the angle we've seen it, but I'd like to see it again, because I thought at the time, I'm sure that's his hand before it hits Nico Williams' hand.
Well, I'm sure it's something which Wales will be looking at. If there is any possibility of a suspension on Saturday, then they should be looking to appeal it, because it's just one of those decisions which really baffles you. We're into 2 minutes of added time. Here is Gunter now down the left-hand side. His cross though is blocked, and France will try and bring the ball clear. And it looks as though they've settled for 3-0 here. And they will just roll on, although they've not been hugely impressive in their World Cup qualifiers so far. Drawing 1-1 against Ukraine at home, dropping points right at the start, and then relatively narrow victories away to Kazakhstan and Bosnia. And they also have the finals of the Nations League coming up in October. They face Belgium in the semi-finals in Italy. So it's a very busy time for them, but that is the price you pay when you are as successful as they have been in recent times. As it's played wide by Benzema to Koundé. Needs to be a good cross, but it's headed away by Connor Roberts. Now Kimpembe just guiding it back towards Varane. Kiefer Moore is outnumbered there once again. Koundé down the line, but Kiefer Moore was just caught there by Koundé as he won the ball back, and arms flailing from the Cardiff striker. I think he caught Koundé in the face as well.
Yeah, I think it was just an accident. His arm pushing him off. It's just hit him in the throat. And I think he's just trying to get away from him, and he's pushed his arm back, and it's hit Koundé in the throat. He's all right. He's up and about. Well, when you look at that group, Germany, France, Portugal, Hungary, and you think of France's strengths is obviously the depth of the squad, but I think they can switch off. I'd be surprised if Hungary got a result out of them.
Well, it's all over in Nice. Wales begin their final preparations with a defeat, but there is a good deal of credit to emerge from their performance on the French Riviera, losing by 3-0, but playing over an hour of the game with only 10 men following the very harsh red card for Nico Williams. And although we saw the quality of Griezmann and Mbappe at times, and Benzema made an impressive return to international football, Wales were never overawed, they were not overwhelmed, and they will be satisfied with their performance on the night. It is finished. France 3, Wales 0.